Right now, we want to take you out to New Jersey as an arrest has been made in the fatal shooting of a New Jersey councilwoman. We want to be joined there on the ground by Sharon Crowley, our Fox 5 team. Sharon, thank you so much for joining us. What is the latest information, and maybe who did police arrest after this shooting?
Yeah, that's right. We are live here tonight in New Brunswick, New Jersey, in the Middlesex County Prosecutor Office, announcing just about an hour ago that a man from Virginia, 28 years old, was arrested in Virginia for the murder of a Sayreville, New Jersey councilwoman, a Republican and elected official. Her name is Eunice Dwumfour. Now, back in February 1st, about 7:30 at night, she was in her car right outside her townhome when witnesses say she was shot to death. Police telling us she died at the scene. Witnesses described seeing a man run away from the murder scene. When this happened, her 12-year-old daughter was inside the townhome at the time, and it has been an investigation that has been described to me by prosecutors as very, very complex. Now, here's what we know about the victim. As I said, she was a 30-year-old mother. She was on city council, or the borough council in Sayreville. She was an EMT, and she was also active in her church. And that is where investigators think she may have met the suspect. They have reason to believe that the two knew each other. However, her family does not recognize him. Police, as I said, arrested in Virginia 28-year-old Rashid Ali Bynum of Portsmouth, Virginia today. They charge him with first-degree murder, also with weapons offenses. They say that he drove back to Virginia right after the murder. They were able to track him in a rented car. They followed the Easy Pass surveillance video, then eyewitness testimony from people who saw what happened, and that is how they were able to track him. But it has taken several months, and the prosecutor describing this as a murder that has really shaken this community. Hear first from the prosecutor and then from the family's lawyer. Family members were also here today.
Additional records corroborated Bynum's location on the day of the homicide. These records showed that Bynum's device traveling through Easy Pass at the same time as a white Hyundai bearing Virginia plates.
They are trying to also understand the relationship, how this person came to target Eunice, what was the rationale. I think one of you in the press conference asked the prosecutor what the motive was. Maybe they know, but certainly they haven't shared that, and that is something that is vexing the family as we speak right now.
Well, investigators say this is an ongoing investigation. In fact, they would not tell us what they think the motive in the case might be, and family certainly also wants to know that, because as I said, through their lawyer telling us they did not recognize the suspect and she had never mentioned him when she was alive. So they're still looking at this case. We also asked investigators if they plan to arrest any other suspects, and they didn't answer that question either, only that they are working on extraditing the suspect here to New Jersey from Virginia, and as soon as that is done, he will be, of course, directly incarcerated. So we will send it back to you in the studio.
Thank you so much. And I did want to ask you about that, and you mentioned it in your tag a little bit, talking about the extradition. How soon, perhaps, could they have it back? And I did watch that press conference as well, and they were keeping information very close to the vest there as well.
Yeah, I don't know whether you heard, but we were firing questions at them, and they just wrapped it up and walked right out, because I think they described this as a very complex case that took them a long time to try to even get a suspect in, even with all of the tracking that they were doing. It may have had something to do with the fact that the suspect was in a car that appeared to be rented from somebody else. So maybe they were tracking down the leads that led to a dead end at first. But we're not sure on the timeline as when, but as soon as possible certainly is what investigators are hoping. And they kept the family held back after the press conference to ask them more questions, obviously trying to get as much information as they possibly can about this case. And as I said, if anybody else was involved, or more charges could be forthcoming.
All right. Thank you so much, Sharon Crowley, here on Live Now from Fox. We appreciate your reporting. As always, like you said, a very complicated case, but a very important case as well, with this fatal shooting of this councilwoman. We appreciate your time here on Live Now from Fox.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you so much as we continue on here. And like Sharon was talking about, there was a lot of questions that were asked, not a ton answered. Let's take you back out to that press conference here out of New Brunswick, New Jersey from earlier today as the arrest has been made of this Virginia man in that fatal shooting. Let's listen in here to this from earlier on Live Now from Fox.
Good afternoon. I'm here today with Attorney General Matthew Platkin, as well as members of the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office, Chief of Detectives Paul Miller, Major Crime Section Chief Amber Gibbs, Captain Scott Crocco, Sayreville Chief of Police Daniel Plumacher, and the family of Eunice Dwumfour to provide you with some updates regarding the Eunice Dwumfour case. First, I'd like to call upon our Attorney General Matthew Platkin.
Thank you, Prosecutor Ciccone, and I want to thank you and your whole team for all the work that's been put in on this case. First and foremost, I want to express my sincerest and deepest condolences to the Dwumfour family. There are no words that can be said to you that will make you whole. I know this, and I know too often when we're talking about victims of gun violence, senseless acts of gun violence, we feel the pain that you all feel today. And I want you to know that on behalf of not just myself, but the law enforcement community and the state of New Jersey. And the work that's been done that the prosecutor will detail by folks behind me and the folks in this room is extraordinary. And no stone was left unturned. And today they will be announcing the conclusion of a big piece of this investigation. But I know how hard it was to do this work, and I know how tirelessly they worked, and I know that's because they cared so deeply for the Dwumfour family and for this community. And I also know that there have now been some months that have passed, and there have been a lot of questions that the community has asked. And I want you to know that the folks behind me and the folks in this community and across the state that worked tirelessly on this investigation did so to ensure public safety and to ensure that those questions could be answered. And for the Dwumfour family, I hope that today is the beginning of a healing process and also the beginning of a sense of justice for you and for Eunice. I'll conclude by saying I did not know Eunice. I wish I had, but I know that she was a public servant. And I think for all of us in public service today and every day, let us use her memory to recommit ourselves to the work that we do to make this state great and to keep us safe. God bless you all. And I now turn it back over to Prosecutor Ciccone.
This is an update. It's an active and ongoing investigation. I will not be taking any questions today. Today, May 30th, at 10:45 a.m., detectives from the Major Crime Section of the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office, Sayreville Police Department, FBI, and the Virginia Chesapeake City Police Department arrested Rashid Ali Bynum, 28 years old, of Portsmouth, Virginia, in connection with the death of Councilwoman Eunice Dwumfour. Bynum was taken into custody outside a residence in Chesapeake City, Virginia, without incident. Bynum was charged with first-degree murder, second-degree unlawful possession of a handgun, second-degree possession of a handgun for an unlawful purpose. Bynum is awaiting extradition to New Jersey, where he will be held at the Middlesex County Adult Correction Facility pending a pretrial detention hearing in Superior Court of New Jersey. This was a very complex, extensive case with painstaking police work every single moment until today, and it will continue after today. The murder has shaken the community, and no arrest will bring back the late councilwoman. However, I do trust that justice will be found through the criminal justice process. To recap, on the evening of February 1st, 2023, at approximately 7:22 p.m., the Sayreville Police Department received several 911 calls reporting a shooting in the area of Check Avenue located in the Parlin section of Sayreville, New Jersey. Officers responded, located the victim, Eunice Dwumfour, in a vehicle suffering from multiple gunshot wounds that she ultimately succumbed to at the scene. Surveillance video was recovered, capturing the suspect fleeing from the scene in the direction of Ernston Road. Additionally, a witness at the scene described the suspect as a thin black male, possibly 5'10" to 6 feet tall in height, having ear-length braids or dreads. Another witness described a suspiciously parked white Hyundai observed in the surrounding area minutes before the murder. After an extensive investigation, it was determined that on February 1st, 2023, a mobile phone traveled from Virginia to New Jersey, and after the murder, immediately returned to Virginia thereafter. Additional records revealed that the device was associated with Rashid Ali Bynum. Bynum's device was located in the area of Gondek Drive and Ernston Road immediately prior to the murder. An additional statement provided by a witness that there was a suspicious white Hyundai unoccupied in the area of Gondek Drive during this time was corroborated by surveillance video in the area of the white vehicle parked on Gondek Drive. The same video also showed a dark figure walking up a sidewalk in the direction of Czech Avenue from Gondek Drive.
I'm not aware of any previous calls with this suspect in the area.
A search of the victim's phone revealed Bynum as a contact in Eunice Dwumfour's phone with the acronym FCF. FCF is believed to be an acronym for the Fire Congress Fellowship, a church the victim was previously affiliated with, which is also associated with the Champion Royal Assembly, the victim's church at the time of her death. Additional records reveal that on the day of the murder, Bynum searched the internet for information on Champion Royal Assembly Church, as well as the area in Sayreville, New Jersey, and within days prior to the murder, what magazines were compatible with a specific handgun. It was determined that as of March 2023, Rashid Ali Bynum had a tall build with short dreads, a slim, tall build with short dreads. This was the same description provided by a witness for the suspected shooter at the scene of Eunice Dwumfour's murder. Additional records corroborated Bynum's location on the day of the homicide. These records showed that Bynum's device traveling through Easy Pass at the same time as a white Hyundai bearing Virginia plates. That registration hit license plate readers in the same area as Bynum's device records throughout the day in Newark, Woodbridge, and Linden. A registration inquiry of the white Hyundai Elantra revealed that it is one of multiple vehicles registered to two individuals. One of the registered owners listed the white Hyundai Elantra online for rental purposes. Bynum call details records and reveals communications on January 31st, 2023, a day prior to the victim's murder, with a phone number related to the registered owner of the Hyundai Elantra. Today, subsequent to the arrest, a handgun was recovered at a Smithfield, Virginia address Bynum returned to after committing the murder of the late councilwoman. Our public information officer has sent out an arrest photo of Mr. Bynum. I want to thank the Major Crimes Section of the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office, the Sayreville Police Department, the FBI, the New Jersey State Police, who worked arduously day and night so that we could bring justice to the late Councilwoman Eunice Dwumfour. In addition, I would like to thank the following agencies from Virginia: Chesapeake City Police Department, Smithfield Police Department, Portsmouth Police Department for their assistance in the arrest of Rashid Bynum. With us today is also the family of Eunice Dwumfour, and they, with us, are looking forward to more of this investigation in reference to Eunice Dwumfour's death. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, listening in there as the announcement came today that an arrest has been made in the murder of this New Jersey councilwoman. Going to pull up a photo of that suspect here that we're learning a little bit more about. Authorities saying that they're still searching for what the motive could be here, but they do believe that they knew each other through a church connection. So we'll continue to follow any other details and developments on this here.